Welcome back to SIP Study Discovering Together, the podcast where we bring you the latest research from the Stress in Pregnancy study, translated into language that actually makes sense. I'm Kathryn Sie, your host and the SIP Study Research Compliance Coordinator. Today's topic is one that I think a lot of people have strong feelings about: marijuana use during pregnancy and after birth. With cannabis now legal in New York and many other states, more and more pregnant women are using it, often believing it's a safer, more natural way to manage nausea, anxiety, and stress. But what does the science actually say about how it might affect the baby? My guest today is Marc La Rosa, a researcher with the SIPS lab whose thesis digs into exactly that question. Marc, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much, Kathryn. Really excited to be here.
Marc, let's start with the big picture. Why is this research so timely right now?
Well, Kathryn, marijuana use among pregnant women has gone up dramatically in recent years. In 2021 alone, 5 states, including New York, legalized recreational marijuana. And with that, a lot of people started thinking of it as safe or even helpful during pregnancy. Some women use it to manage morning sickness, anxiety, or just the everyday stress of being pregnant. But here's the thing: we actually don't have a lot of solid evidence on what it does to babies. The research is still catching up to the culture, and what we do have so far is concerning enough that it needs to be talked about openly.
And your thesis is trying to fill in some of those blanks. What's the full title of your study?
Yes, it's called Maternal Marijuana Use May Negatively Affect Infant Temperament in 1 year. And really, the title says it all. We were trying to understand whether a mom using marijuana, either during pregnancy, after birth, or both, shows up in how her baby behaves and feels at 1 year old.
Before we get into the finding, help our listener understand what is infant temperament and why does it matter?
Well, temperament is basically a baby's emotional personality. It's how they naturally react to the world. Are they easily scared? Do they calm down quickly when upset? Do they love being held and cuddled? How sad do they get when something goes wrong? What makes temperament really important scientifically is that it tends to be stable. A baby who is fearful and hard to soothe at 1 year old is more likely to have anxiety or behavioral problems later in childhood. So, if something in the environment, like a prenatal exposure, is shaping temperament early on, it could have ripple effects for years.
So you look at 4 specific temperament traits. Can you walk us through what each one actually look like in a real baby?
Sure, fear is how easily a baby startles or gets distressed when something new or unexpected happens. Soothability is how quickly they calm down when a caregiver tries to comfort them. Does the baby settle when you pick them up and rock them? Cuddliness is how much a baby enjoys being held and snuggled. Some babies readily accept this and others squirm away. And sadness is how a baby responds to small frustrations or discomforts, like when a toy is taken away or they can't do something they're trying to do. Do they get low and withdrawn, or do they bounce back quickly?
Tell us about the families in the study.
Well, we looked at 379 mother child pairs from the SIP study, a really diverse group of families from New York City. About half identified as Hispanic or Latino, and half did not. And importantly, we tracked marijuana use at 2 different time points: during pregnancy and then after the baby was born. We grouped families into 4 categories: no marijuana use at all, prenatal use only, postnatal use only, meaning after birth, and combined use, meaning both during and after pregnancy. Then we compared the baby's temperament scores across those groups when the children were about 1 year old.
And what made you want to look specifically at the combination of prenatal and postnatal use? That seems like a unique angle.
True, and honestly, it seemed no one had done it before. Most studies look at prenatal exposure on its own, but exposure after the baby is born is another thing altogether. The baby may keep getting exposed through secondhand smoke or if the mom is breastfeeding. And we wanted to know if double exposure, the mother using marijuana both before and after birth, makes things worse.
Okay, let's get into the result. What did you find?
Well, across the board, babies who were exposed to marijuana, whether before birth, after birth, or at both times, showed less favorable temperament outcomes compared to babies with no exposure. They had higher fear and sadness scores and lower soothability and cuddliness scores. But the strongest effects were in the combined exposure group, the babies whose mom used marijuana both during pregnancy and after birth. Those babies had the highest fear, the highest sadness, and the lowest scores for being soothed and cuddled of any group.
So it's not just one hit, it's the accumulation that seems to do the most damage.
Exactly right. This is actually consistent with what researchers call the double hit model. The idea that when a developing child faces two separate stressors or harmful exposures, the combined effect can be greater than either one alone. Prenatal exposure may prime the baby's developing brain in a certain direction, and then postnatal exposure continues to push in that direction. The result is a baby who is harder to comfort, quicker to fear, and more prone to low mood.
Now, one of the things that really stood out to me reading about this research is the difference you found between Hispanic and non Hispanic babies. Can you explain that?
Yes, this was very intriguing. When we looked at the full group of babies together, marijuana exposure was linked to higher fear and sadness. But when we separated the data by ethnicity, we found that those fear and sadness effects were mainly showing up in non Hispanic babies. Hispanic babies seemed to show fewer significant effects from marijuana exposure, particularly for fear and sadness.
That's surprising. Why might that be?
Honestly, we don't fully know yet, and that's important to say, but we have a few possible explanations. One is cultural. Hispanic families tend to have strong family networks with extended family very involved in raising children. That kind of warm, supportive environment might buffer some of the negative effects of prenatal exposure. Research actually supports the idea that close family bonds and cultural values around interdependence can protect children's mental health. Another possibility is measurement. The way we measure infant temperament relies on moms filling out a questionnaire about their baby's behavior. Research shows that Hispanic parents may describe their children's emotional behaviors differently, not because the babies are actually different, but because of how distress is talked about and understood in their culture. There's even a term in some Latin communities, nervios, that captures emotional distress in a way that doesn't directly map onto our clinical categories.
So it could be a real protective effect, or it could be that we are measuring things in a way that doesn't fully captures what's happening for Hispanic family.
Right. And it's probably some of both. What's clear is that ethnicity seems to matter, both as a real world factor shaping child development and as something researchers need to account for much more carefully in how they design studies and interpret results.
Let's bring this home. What's the message for a mom who is pregnant right now and maybe using marijuana to deal with nausea or anxiety?
Well, the message is this: we understand why you might reach for it. Pregnancy is hard, nausea is real, and anxiety is real. With marijuana being legal and widely available, it can seem like a low risk option. But the science is telling us that the developing baby's brain is sensitive to cannabis exposure, and those effects may show up in your child's personality, their ability to be comforted, and their emotional responses as early as their first birthday. Please talk to your doctor or midwife. There are safer, evidence based options for managing pregnancy symptoms and anxiety. You don't have to just push through alone. Marijuana may not be the safest tool for the job.
And what about after the baby is born?
Well, our data suggests that postnatal exposure also matters. Babies are still in a critical window of brain development in their first year. Whether it's through secondhand smoke or breast milk, cannabis compounds can reach the baby. If you're a new parent using marijuana, it's worth having an honest conversation with your pediatrician about the potential risks.
Mark, this has been an important conversation. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Well, just that this research isn't about judging anyone. It's about giving families the information they deserve so they can make the best choices for their children. Science is a gift when it's shared openly. I hope this work contributes to that.
Beautifully said, Mark. Congratulations on your thesis and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kathryn.
And thank you to all of you listening to SIP Study Discovering Together. If this episode resonates with you, please share it, especially with anyone who is pregnant, a new parent, or working with young families. Connect with us on Facebook and on X as SIP Study, and visit us at sipstudy.org for more research and past episodes. We'll leave you with this word from pediatricians and author Dr. Benjamin Spock. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do, but surround yourself with good information and never stop learning. The best thing we can give our children is knowledge and the courage to act on it. Until next time.